Despite all the recent success of Lloyd Banks' albums since about 2020, and despite all the respect that he gets for his crazy pen game, in 2025, Lloyd Banks still has the hunger for more. What is good, y'all? It's your boy Mixtape Moth. I know I'm super late with this one, but it's finally here. So please go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. But today, I'm going to be hitting y'all with my thoughts on this new one from Lloyd Banks entitled All or Nothing 3. Despite my mistakes, the Southside Jamaica Queens veteran Lloyd Banks, Blue Hefner, the Punchline King, is back. Now, for years, Lloyd Banks was regarded as the Punchline King, but anymore, in my opinion at least, I think he's become known as the introspective king, because ever since Lloyd Banks' second career run or rebirth in 2020, he has been blessing the streets with some of his most personal and reflective lyrics to date. So AON3, despite my mistakes, is Banks' first drop of 2025. It contains 18 songs with a lengthy runtime of about an hour and 6 minutes. The production is handled by a variety of some lesser known producers who Banks has worked alongside on recent projects. Guys like George Jetson, The Germ, Haas Almighty. You also have Nicholas Craven and Cartoon Beats, each supplying one instrumental. But with that being said, let me go ahead and just hit y'all with that track by track breakdown. The opener, Determination, has this piano building beat that's kind of epic. It's almost giving off a slight one mic vibe as far as pacing goes. Banks said, total drive and perseverance will make a big mistake small. Funny thing about victory, you'll have 100 missed calls. But overall, solid opener that does set this tone of deep reflection. Track 2, If I Wake Up, is a bar fest. This has some slower, unsettling production, but there's an urgency to Banks' vocals here. Some highlights were Just Be Original. Can you picture a copycat with a torch? I also dug Deadliest Right Hand, Filthy My Survivor Plan. In the event that I die, bring a dude back with a hologram. Also, The Gem, People will lose their whole identity for a popular summer. So he's just really exposing the ugly nature of the game. And track 3, 1982, is a really dope conceptual track with Ransom set to a mellow, surreal Cartoon Beats instrumental. I do almost wish Cartoon Beats would have appeared more on this project though, but this song finds these two looking back on all the highlights from the year 1982, the year Banks was born. Banks said, the same year the CD replaced the Walkman, Nike dropped the Air Force, Wonder Who Bought 'em. And Ransom bodied his verse. Some highlight lines were, Mike was off the wall with that techno soul, my brother made it a thriller with the text he sold. Track 4, One Life, has this glamorous piano passage. You're getting some regal twinkling keys that gave it some flavor. One of the standout instrumentals on this project for me, Banks said, what you thought was attractive became a distraction. So you are getting a lot of sharp, streetwise bars over this sparkling beat. Then there's Pick and Choose, another favorite. You have this anxiety building, tense production, and Banks puts on a masterclass with the bars. He said, known for putting words together like apostrophes. From the land of atrocities, I cheated death twice, God's favor possibly. So a lot of rewind-worthy bars on Pick and Choose. Then there's Despite My Mistakes. Now this has a real contemplative, in tune with your feelings type instrumental, one that's ideal for soul searching. And this features Styles P, who said sucker shit is never on the agenda. And Banks has the biting lines here: party and dumb shit, stupid music for crowds with cups. I mean, Banks, let us know how you really feel about mainstream, maybe non-lyrical music. And there's the more triumphant track, Rollin', which has this gritty 70s styled horn loop, and Banks said, still unlocking these flows, God gave me a lot of keys. So he's just reminding us that in this game of life, you only get one shot, you rolling. Right after, though, is arguably the best song, objectively, Endangered Innocence with Ghostface, produced by Nicholas Craven. Now, you have this warm, blissful soul sample that reminds you of a home-cooked meal on a Sunday with the family. The beat is just oozing in that nostalgia. If you were a 70s baby growing up watching Soul Train or Good Times, those are the vibes that Nicholas Craven is channeling here. Banks said that Havoc and Prodigy CD changed my life. Frank, White, and Escobar, they made me nice. That Snoop Doggy Style was worth the price. And Ghostface did give us one of his more focused, vivid verses in quite a while. Right after, though, is another gem, Art of Rap. This is basically a purist anthem or a love letter to true hip hop. So when you hear people scream, I want that real hip hop, this is what Banks was going for. Set on top of a crisp, atmospheric instrumental that's really classy. And Banks does drop a lot of hip hop artist names and classic albums. You're getting flawless wordplay and just another 5-mic display of lyricism. Track 10, Perfect World. It finds Banks giving out more thoughtful game to the youth. The beat has more of a rugged soul flair. But there's some positive advice like don't let them trick you out your education, king. Track 11 is Dedication with a feature from TL Top of Line. There are dope bars here and you have this syrupy atmospheric instrumental, but I didn't necessarily view this song as one that I would be as interested in returning back to, not because it's bad at all, but it just didn't stand out as much as some of the others. Track 12, Keep Pushing, however, is a standout. You have intense, detailed storytelling here. It's cinematic. Banks is really going in, talking about the life of a young dude in his delicate years growing up. Yeah, it's raw Queens hip-hop, straight up and down. The stuff that only a storyteller from Queens could best give you. Immediately after is Traumatized. This finds Banks probably at his most transparent over this pensive, calm after the storm type of beat that does give me some Mozzie vibes. Banks said, if you ever want to know who will leave you for dead, play Dead. That's kind of a jewel. Track 14, Revolving Door, has more thorough storytelling, but the beat is really dark and another anxiety builder. I do like the flow change-ups on the hook from Banks, though. It's reminiscent to his old flow a bit. But yeah, he was dropping more gems on Revolving Door. Track 15, The Grudge, takes on a slightly different approach instrumentally. This is a nice boom bap bop. There's a slight bounce to the flow. It's smooth with that head nod appeal. I do kind of wish Banks had a track or two more with this style of energy due to a lot of the songs being on the more somber side. Track 16, No Info, another favorite where the grim storytelling continues. This, in my opinion, is like Banks doing an East Coast version of Scarface's The Diary. Those are the ominous, gloomy, vivid vibes that were on display. The storytelling was simply flawless. Everything about this track was fire. Track 17, Upper Echelon, has a nice jazz rap sample. I love the slick rainy day sax and the golden vocal chops. In the last track, High Powered, has another great jazz rap beat, but this one is more melancholy. He is getting introspective here, turning inward, admitting to being a true introvert. He said, success comes with a price. To be honest, I love the game, but wouldn't pick the door twice. So overall, I'm going to give this project a rating of a strong 4 mics. As I said earlier, Banks put on a lyrical masterclass. You have many poignant, compelling, sharp, vivid, introspective bars. Also ones that were uplifting as he was giving out a lot of mature, big homie type of advice that I think is necessary. All of this does show his evolution as an artist since his inception. And I'd have to say, on the lyrical tip, this is a 5 mic worthy performance. So the bars from Banks were 5 mics. And talking about the production, I'd say the production was solid. The beats were serviceable. Some I really liked, don't get me wrong. But the production would probably get more of a 3.5 rating for me. Now, I will say I wouldn't have minded a little more variety or slight different direction at times sonically for Banks, just to kind of switch things up, as it can sometimes come across as rather dark and dreary. There are some people who I talked with who said this is without a doubt album of the year. Others said phenomenal lyrics, but they wish there were more bangers, or maybe they didn't love the production, and I can totally get that. But it seemed like with this project, Banks was once again focused on being in his deep introspective bag as a lyricist, but at least he did it at a high level. At the end of the day, it was a very strong album from Banks, and it's inspirational to see that an artist of his stature at this junction of his career is still inspired to go as hard as he did and to continue to push that envelope as a lyricist. Also, something that I forgot to mention almost is that Banks literally gives you 3 verses on every track. There isn't one song where there is not 3 verses, and that's kind of a big deal by today's standards. My favorite tracks include If I Wake Up, 1982, One Life, Pick and Choose, Despite My Mistakes, Endangered Innocence, Art of Rap, Keep Pushing, Revolving Door, The Grudge, No Info, Upper Echelon, and High Power. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. It's your boy Mixtape Mob. I am signing out, but as always, it's peace and blessings. Lloyd Banks, All or Nothing 3, Despite My Mistakes 1.